What's up guys, it's Dave Marshall with the RC Marshall YouTube channel, and today we are doing an unboxing and build of the FMS Pilatus PC-21 that you see here behind me. The PC-21 has been one of my favorite aircraft over time. It's about 4 years old now, so it's not a brand new aircraft. It has an 1100 millimeter wingspan, and the fuselage is 1235 millimeters, so it is longer in the fuselage than it is wider in the wingspan. It is a 4S power system with a 750 kV motor and a very scale 5-bladed prop. This is a PNP model, so you will need to provide your own receiver. For this build, we're going to be using the Spektrum AR630 receiver, which is a new antennaless receiver that has AS3X and safe technology, accessible via forward programming, very similar to the AR637T. And we're also going to be pulling out the stock 40 amp ESC and replacing it with an Avian 45 amp ESC that will allow us to take advantage of all the smart telemetry using Spektrum smart batteries. For this video, we're going to be doing a little bit of a different format than we normally do. We're not going to be doing a deep dive into all of the different aspects of the build. We're going to be doing a quick time lapse of the assembly. And after the time lapse of the assembly, we'll be coming back to the studio and discussing any pain points that I experienced. Be sure to leave some comments below and let me know how you guys feel about the new format. We're going to head on over to the bench and build out the FMS Pilatus PC-21. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications on so you're always made aware when we have new videos. Now let's head over to the bench. Alright, so there's the time lapse of the unboxing and build, and I wanted to discuss a couple of the pain points that I experienced with this particular model. The assembly of the PC-21 is pretty straightforward. There are 9 screws involved with the assembly process. You've got 4, 2 for each horizontal stabilizer. The vertical stabilizer is molded into the fuselage, so you don't have to worry about that. And you've also got 4 more screws that hold the wing assembly in place. One area that I had particular difficulty with is where the horizontal stabilizers slot into the fuselage. You've got a couple of plastic areas right here that the screws go into. That plastic slot that the horizontal stabilizer slots into was compressed a bit, and I had to spread that out to get the horizontal stabilizer to go into the slot. So all of your control rods come pre-inserted with the exception of the elevator control rod. That one you do need to install yourself, but it's very easy. It's just got a simple Z-bend in the control rod that you insert into the servo horn, and then you install your clevis onto the outermost hole of the control horn on the elevator. The wing assembly simply has 4 screws, 2 here and 2 here, that install onto the fuselage. The only gluing that was necessary, and this is optional, you can kind of see right here, there are some small pitot tubes that insert into the foam on the end of the wings. I did insert those and glue those into place, and I just used some foam tack to hold those in. As you can see, we've got a very scale 5-bladed prop that looks fantastic. Now, the scale version of the PC-21 is a turbo prop, and we also have the exhaust nozzles coming out of each side of the engine bay to add a little scale touch for that turboprop engine. Inside the battery bay, the ESC is kind of free floating in there, very similar to some other designs of FMS. And I've mounted my AR630 on the forward. There's a small slope on the foam forward of the battery tray, which is right here. Now, one of the odd parts about this model that I found is that the battery sits almost directly over the center of gravity. Now, in the manual, FMS suggests moving the battery, forward or aft to get the CG where you want it to be. What I found is that even moving the battery almost all the way up into the nose, it still doesn't get you close to the CG, which FMS calls for 90 to 95 millimeters from the leading edge at the wing root. There is a nice thread on RC groups about the FMS Pilatus PC-21. I highly suggest going and checking that out. In that thread, it covers a lot about the CG and some of the, the issues that other folks have been having with it. And what I'm going to be doing is adding some weight up into the nose area. I'm just going to pull off the spinner and the propeller and add 2 ounces of weight just aft of the motor mounts. While I typically don't like or recommend adding dead weight to a model, this is one of those cases where I would like to be able to keep the battery on the stock battery tray and still be able to CG the airplane at the recommended CG points. As with all propeller-driven airplanes, I highly recommend balancing your prop before you fly. I did put this prop and the spinner on my prop balancer and found that I did need to take a little bit of material off a couple of the blades to get it to balance properly. One thing that I absolutely noticed is, very typical of FMS, this model has very smooth, the foam is very smooth, it is nice and rigid, it feels solid. The paint is also applied very well, and it has a nice smooth paint finish over that foam. One thing that I'll probably do, right now this paint is kind of a flat finish. I will apply 3 to 4 coats of the Minwax polycrylic gloss clear coat over the paint. That'll offer a little bit of protection as well as getting that paint to really pop. The PC-21 does have full retracts. It is a tricycle landing gear configuration, and while the struts, they have the appearance of being a trailing link style suspension strut, it is just a straight metal strut with some plastic over them. In addition to the retracts, it's also equipped with flaps, so this is a full 6-channel aircraft. Now, on the front landing gear, we do have operational spring-loaded gear doors, and as the front landing gear retracts, it compresses a small mechanism right here that opens and closes those doors for you. As is typical with a lot of FMS models, the tires on the PC-21 are an extremely hard rubber, so if you want a softer feel on those tires, you would need to look at your aftermarket suppliers such as Dubro and Robart. We'll go ahead and cycle the gear doors a couple of times so you can see what that looks like. So they're very quick to extend and retract, as you can see there. We'll go ahead and retract them. And everything, you know, they've got these main gear doors. So the only thing that you can see is just your tires right here. Everything else closes up quite nicely. What I will say is I really like this front door, the front gear door assembly. It closes up nice and tight. There's, you know, pretty tight tolerances there. And that mechanism seems to work really well. The PC-21 is equipped with 7 9-gram servos. You've got one up here for your nose wheel steering, one back here for your rudder. On the rear of the aircraft, you've got another one here to operate your elevator. And you've also got 4 in the wings. You've got 2 flap servos and 2 aileron servos. Now, one of the things that I thought was interesting was their choice to kind of intermingle analog and digital servos. The nose wheel steering, the rudder, and the 2 flap servos are all digital servos, while your aileron and elevator servos are analog. So overall, I'm very impressed with the FMS PC-21. I'm very impressed with the fit and finish. And outside of the molded area where the horizontal stabilizers fit into the fuselage, I didn't have any other issues with the build. I really enjoy the looks and the lines on this model and really can't wait to get it up in the air and get it flying. We've got a couple of more videos on the way on the PC-21. We're obviously going to be doing the maiden flight and a flight review of the model. And we're also going to be doing one of the final videos of our AR637T programming series. Now, even though this has the AR630, I want to kind of put that out here that the AR630 programming and the AR637T programming are almost identical in every way. So at this point, I haven't set up anything on the receiver for the PC-21, so we're going to be taking the PC-21 out to the field and be doing all of the AR630 programming at the field live, so you guys can see exactly how long it takes. I know that there's a lot of videos that show each step of the process. I just want to show that from start to finish, you know, that you can do all of your forward programming in about 15 minutes. It's a very easy process to go through, and we just want to show that from start to finish, everything is really quick. If you guys are interested in purchasing the FMS Pilatus PC-21, we're going to have some links to Horizon Hobby down in the description. Those are affiliate links. And when you use them to purchase something from Horizon Hobby, they do help out the channel, and we appreciate your support. We're also going to have links down there for the AR630, as well as the Avian 45 amp ESC that we're using in the FMS PC-21. Also, be sure to check out the RC Air Marshal merch channel. There's a link down in the description so you can get your hands on some of the best tees in RC. And if you like what you're seeing, consider becoming a member of the RC Air Marshal YouTube channel for as low as $1.99 a month. Get your hands on some exclusive content and other fun things that we do with our channel members. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and turn on that notification icon so you never miss another video from the RC Air Marshal YouTube channel. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.